Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speakeasy FM.
Hi, we are so happy you're here today.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Ian. And on this channel, we help you practice real, everyday English.
The English that people actually use, not just in books, in real life.
If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe and give this video a like. It really helps us.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ian, today we're talking about something a little different. Silence.
Silence, as in not talking?
Exactly. Today's episode is called The Power of Silence. We're going to talk about why silence isn't empty. It's actually full of meaning. In conversations, in relationships, even in how you reach your goals.
So today you're going to learn how to use silence in conversation without feeling awkward. Some phrases for those quiet moments, and honestly, a new way to think about why staying quiet sometimes makes you stronger, not weaker.
Real vocabulary, real examples, and a topic that's actually pretty deep for a Tuesday.
Before we start, one thing that really helps with episodes like this, if you want to sound natural, if you want your English to feel smooth and fluent, try shadowing.
Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and repeat it right after us, copying the rhythm, the pauses, the way our voices go up and down. Not just the words, the music of it.
It's one of the best ways to train your mouth and your ear together.
If you want to shadow with this video, listen to each sentence and try to repeat it right after us. If we're too fast, you can slow the video down. You don't have to catch or repeat every sentence. Just repeat what you can and keep going. Little by little, it will get easier.
It feels a little strange at first, talking to your screen, but it works.
It really does. Okay, let's talk about silence.
So here's my confession. I hate silence. If there's a quiet moment in a conversation, I will fill it with literally anything.
Anything?
Last week, someone paused for like 2 seconds and I said, "So hot outside, huh?" It wasn't even hot. It was raining.
You just needed something to say.
I needed something, anything. The silence felt like it was judging me.
That's actually really common. A lot of people feel that way. Silence makes us nervous because our brain reads it as a problem to solve.
Like something went wrong.
Right. If nobody's talking, some part of your brain thinks, did I say something weird? Are they upset? Do I need to fix this right now?
Which usually makes me say something even weirder.
The rain comment.
The rain comment lives in my head forever.
But here's the interesting part. In a lot of cultures, silence isn't a problem at all. It's completely normal to sit with someone and say nothing for a while.
Really?
Really. My grandmother used to sit on the porch with her neighbor for an hour, and they'd maybe say 10 words the whole time. That was their friendship. Comfortable, no pressure to perform.
I don't think I've ever sat with someone for an hour without talking. My brain would explode.
It takes practice. But that kind of silence, the comfortable kind, that's actually a sign of trust. You don't need to fill every second with someone you're truly relaxed with.
So the goal isn't never be quiet. The goal is figuring out which silence is actually fine.
Exactly. Some silences are awkward. Some are peaceful. Today we're learning to tell the difference and how to talk about both in English. Let's start with conversations. Because English learners especially feel a lot of pressure to respond instantly.
Guilty. When someone asks me something in English, I feel like I have to answer in half a second, or I've failed.
But that's not how real conversations work. Even native speakers pause. We think. We search for a word. That pause is normal.
It doesn't mean you don't know English.
It just means you're thinking. And actually, taking a small pause before you answer makes you sound more thoughtful, not less fluent.
Wait, really?
Really? If someone asks you a hard question and you take 2 seconds before answering, That's completely natural. You can even say something like, let me think, or that's a good question.
Those little phrases buy you time.
Exactly. And they sound way more natural than rushing into an answer that doesn't make sense.
I used to think silence during a conversation meant I was doing something wrong. Now I think of it as breathing room.
That's a nice way to put it. Breathing room. Conversations need space, just like sentences need punctuation.
Ooh, I like that. A comma, not a mistake.
Exactly. And there's a difference between an awkward silence and a comfortable one. An awkward silence usually happens when nobody knows what to say and everyone's a little tense.
Like when you meet your partner's parents for the first time and nobody has anything to say.
A very specific example, but yes. That kind of silence has tension in it. You can almost feel it in the room.
You can. It's heavy.
Right, we say a silence can feel heavy. But a comfortable silence is relaxed. It happens between people who already trust each other. Old friends can sit in a car for 20 minutes without talking, and it feels completely fine.
I actually have that with my brother. We can drive somewhere for an hour and barely speak, and it's not weird at all.
That's real closeness. You don't need constant talking to feel connected.
So, what do you actually say in English if a silence starts feeling awkward and you want to gently fix it?
Good question. You can say something simple like, "So, what have you been up to?" It's a soft way back into conversation.
Or, anyway, that one word does so much work in English.
It really does. Anyway basically means, let's move on from this quiet moment.
I use anyway like it's a life raft.
And that's fine. Everyone needs a life raft sometimes. The point isn't to avoid silence completely. It's to feel less panicked when it happens.
Because panic is exactly what makes me say things about the weather that aren't even true.
The rain comment.
The rain comment.
There's one more piece of this. A big part of handling silence well in a conversation is actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Oh, I'm terrible at that. Sometimes, while the other person is still talking, I'm already planning what I'm going to say next.
A lot of people do that. It feels productive, but really, you're not fully hearing them.
So instead of planning my next sentence, I should just let the silence sit there for a second after they finish?
Exactly. Give yourself a beat before responding. It shows the other person you actually took in what they said.
I tried that yesterday with a coworker. I waited a whole 2 seconds before answering, and she asked if something was wrong.
2 seconds probably felt like an hour to you.
It genuinely did. But she also said afterward that she felt like I really listened, so I think it worked.
See, that's the whole point. A small pause can make people feel heard, not ignored. Okay, let's shift a little. Because silence isn't just about conversations. It's also about how we handle our own goals and plans.
What do you mean?
Have you ever told someone about a big plan and then somehow lost the motivation to actually do it?
Oh, constantly. I told my whole family I was going to learn to play guitar, bought the guitar, told everyone, posted about it.
And?
The guitar is currently a very expensive place to hang my jacket.
That happens more than people realize. There's actually something psychological going on there. When you announce a plan and people react with excitement, your brain gets a little reward from that moment.
Just from talking about it?
Just from talking about it. It feels a little bit like you already did something, even though you haven't started.
So the compliments basically replace the actual work?
Sometimes, yes. You get a small taste of success from the conversation, and it can quietly lower your drive to actually finish the thing.
That explains the guitar situation perfectly. Everyone said, "That's so cool, Ian," and I felt like a musician for about a week.
Without playing a single note.
Without playing a single note.
This doesn't mean you should never tell anyone your goals, but there's something powerful about staying a little quiet in the early stages. Just working on something without turning it into a performance for everyone around you.
Silence as protection.
Exactly. When a plan is small and new, it's a little fragile. If too many people give their opinions too early, It can get knocked over before it even has a chance to grow.
Everyone becomes an expert the second you mention an idea.
They really do. Are you sure that's a good idea? My cousin tried that and it didn't work out. Suddenly, you're defending a plan you haven't even started.
That happened when I told people I wanted to switch careers. Within a day, I had heard 11 reasons why it might not work.
11?
I counted.
And how did that feel?
Honestly, exhausting. By the end of the week, I almost talked myself out of it, just from other people's doubts.
That's the risk. A plan that's still small needs quiet, not a crowd of opinions.
So, what's the healthy version of this? Because I don't think staying completely silent forever is realistic either.
No, it's not about hiding everything from everyone. It's about being a little more selective. Maybe you tell one person you trust, someone who will actually support you and check in on you.
Instead of announcing it to the entire group chat.
Exactly. One trusted person can give you real accountability. A big audience just gives you attention, and attention isn't the same as support.
I think I need to apply this to the guitar.
Maybe don't tell anyone until you've actually learned 3 chords.
3 chords and total silence. New plan.
And when the plan is ready, when you've actually built something real, that's when it can speak for itself.
Okay, so we've talked about silence in conversations and silence with our goals. What about just silence in general, in your day?
This is something I've actually worked on. I used to have background noise on constantly. The television, music, a podcast, anything.
Same. If my apartment is quiet, it feels wrong.
I started leaving little pockets of silence in my day. No phone, no music, just sitting for a few minutes.
And what happened?
At first, it felt strange, almost uncomfortable, like something was missing. But after a while, I noticed I could actually hear my own thoughts more clearly.
That sounds a little scary, honestly.
It can be, at first. We fill our lives with noise, partly because silence forces us to actually notice how we feel. Sometimes that's uncomfortable.
So the noise is kind of a distraction from ourselves.
Sometimes, yes. Not always, but sometimes.
I think that's why waiting rooms feel so unbearable. No phone allowed, nothing to look at, just you and your thoughts for 20 minutes.
Waiting rooms are a perfect example. Most people reach for their phone the second they sit down, because that silence feels unbearable.
I've definitely refreshed an app I don't even care about just to avoid sitting there quietly.
We all have. But silence also gives your brain a chance to actually process things. You solve problems, you notice how you're really feeling, you get ideas.
My best ideas actually come in the shower, which is quiet now that I think about it.
That's not a coincidence. A lot of people say their best thinking happens in quiet moments. In the shower, on a walk without headphones, right before falling asleep.
So maybe I should try quiet on purpose sometimes, not just accidentally in the shower.
Even 5 minutes. Sit somewhere without your phone, without music, and just let your mind be quiet.
5 minutes sounds doable. 5 minutes, I can survive.
And there's something else. Silence can also be a form of confidence. Have you noticed that people who don't need to fill every gap in a conversation often seem more calm, more sure of themselves?
Actually, yeah. There was a guy at my old job who never rushed to speak. He'd just pause, think, then say something short. Everyone listened when he talked because he didn't talk that much.
That's the power of it. When you're comfortable with silence, you're not desperate to prove something with words. You trust that what you have to say matters, even if you don't say it right away.
I think I talk fast because deep down I'm worried people will stop listening if I pause.
A lot of us feel that. But a pause doesn't lose people's attention. Usually it does the opposite. It makes them lean in.
Lean in and wait for the guitar update.
We're really not letting the guitar go today.
The guitar deserves closure.
One last thing on this. Silence isn't always healthy, though. There's a difference between resting in silence and using silence to punish someone.
Like the silent treatment.
Exactly. Refusing to speak to someone because you're angry? That's not peaceful silence. That's silence used as a weapon.
How do you tell the two apart?
Healthy silence gives you space to think, and you come back to the conversation when you're ready. The silent treatment is meant to hurt the other person and make them worry.
So it's really about the reason behind it, not the silence itself.
Right. The same quiet moment can be healing or hurtful, depending on why it's there.
That's a really important difference. I don't think I'd ever thought about silence that way before.
Most people don't, until they've been on one side of it or the other. Okay, let's go through some of the words we used today. Really useful for talking about silence, and honestly, useful for talking about a lot of things.
First word, silence, obviously. Silence just means the absence of sound. No talking, no noise.
You can say, I enjoy a little silence in the morning, or there was total silence in the room.
Next, awkward. Awkward describes something uncomfortable or embarrassing, especially in a social situation.
An awkward silence is one where nobody knows what to say and it feels tense.
The date started with a really awkward silence is a very real sentence for a lot of people.
Next word, pause. A pause is a short stop, usually in speaking.
You can take a pause before answering a hard question. It gives you time to think.
She paused for a second before answering is a natural way to use it.
Next, breathing room. This is a phrase, not just one word. Breathing room means space to relax, think, or exist without pressure.
A pause in a conversation can give both people some breathing room.
I need a little breathing room before I decide works in a lot of situations, not just conversations.
Next word, selective. Being selective means being careful and choosy about what or who you allow into something.
You can be selective about who you tell your plans to.
I'm trying to be more selective about my time is something you might say about your schedule too.
Next, accountability. Accountability means being responsible for something and having someone who helps keep you on track.
A trusted friend can give you accountability for your goals.
I told my sister my plan so she could hold me accountable is a good example.
Next word, process. As a verb, to process something means to think it through and understand it fully, often emotionally.
Silence can give you time to process your feelings.
I need a moment to process what just happened is very natural in English.
Next, unbearable. Unbearable means too difficult or uncomfortable to accept or continue.
For some people, sitting in a waiting room in total silence feels unbearable.
The heat today is unbearable is another common way to use that word.
And our last word, confidence. Confidence means believing in yourself and your own abilities.
Someone who's comfortable with silence often seems to have more confidence.
She answered every question with real confidence is a nice sentence to remember.
So today's words: silence, awkward, pause, breathing room, selective, accountability, process, unbearable, and confidence.
Let's put a few of them together in a short story.
Okay, I'll start. The meeting started with an awkward silence because nobody wanted to speak first.
Then our manager took a pause, looked around the room, and finally smiled.
That small pause gave everyone a little breathing room.
I used the quiet moment to process what I actually wanted to say.
And when I finally spoke, I answered with real confidence.
It wasn't unbearable at all. Actually, it felt kind of nice.
Now I'm trying to be more selective about which meetings I even worry about.
And I told one coworker to keep me accountable for staying calm next time.
All 9 words used naturally in one small story.
That's the goal. Not memorizing the words, but actually living inside them.
Okay, let's wrap up everything we talked about today.
We started with why silence feels so uncomfortable and how our brains often read quiet moments as a problem.
We talked about silence in conversations, the difference between awkward silence and comfortable silence, and a few phrases to use when things feel quiet.
We talked about silence and our own plans, how staying a little quiet in the early stages can actually protect a new goal.
We talked about being selective instead of secretive, telling the right person, not the whole group chat.
And we talked about sitting with silence on purpose, giving your brain a little space without music or your phone filling every second.
A whole episode about not talking, and somehow we talked the entire time.
That's kind of perfect, actually.
The irony is not lost on me.
The main idea is simple. Silence isn't empty. It's full of thinking, full of trust, full of space for whatever comes next.
And in English, learning to feel comfortable with a pause instead of panicking is actually part of sounding more natural.
Fluent speakers pause all the time. It's not a mistake. It's part of real conversation.
So next time there's a quiet moment, in English or in your own language, maybe don't rush to fill it.
Let it breathe a little.
Okay, it's time for our favorite part.
The question of the day.
Today we have 2 questions for you.
First, do you feel comfortable with silence, or does it make you nervous, like it used to make Ian?
Hey,
You said it yourself, the rain comment.
fair. Okay, second question. Is there a plan or a goal you've been talking about a lot but haven't actually started yet?
Write your answers in the comments, even just a sentence or two.
For example, silence makes me nervous, so I usually talk too much. Or, I've been talking about starting a garden for a year, but I haven't planted anything yet.
Any answer is a great answer. We read every single comment.
Everyone. And who knows, maybe writing it down quietly right now is your first small step.
Thank you so much for spending this quiet, thoughtful episode with us.
It was actually really nice to slow down today. No rushing, no rain comments.
One rain comment.
1 rain comment, fine.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who is also learning English.
And subscribe to Speakeasy FM so you don't miss our next episode. New videos every week.
Remember, you don't need to fill every silence to be understood. Sometimes the pause says just as much as the words.
Small and simple, just like everything else we talk about here.
From both of us,
Keep learning, keep practicing.
and have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!